Recently, we got a glimpse at some behind-the-scenes looks at Taylor Kinney's sky-high stunt and a preview of Severide and Stella facing the consequences in the fall finale. This is definitely highly anticipated, and with that, viewers are also wondering if a 12th season will be announced. So, let's look at all the need-to-know info and what characters we could potentially say goodbye to this year. First up, the Chicago Fire producers have some characters facing major consequences in the fall finale, but who and what will go down? Let's take a look. After a brief hiatus, Chicago Fire will soon return to NBC with the autumn finale, and longtime viewers of the popular show are aware that Chicago Fire finales frequently feature extremely high stakes and huge surprises. Now, we know currently that these stakes for Severide will be extremely high in the season 11 episode that aired on December 7th. In addition to the repercussions that both he and Stella will experience as a result of their actions. The two showrunners, Andrea Newman and Derek Haas, spoke about what lies ahead for the two lieutenants, and the behind-the-scenes look at Taylor Kinney's high-flying stunt demonstrates just how much the star has grown after 10 seasons and counting. Severide will find himself in a different kind of jeopardy than normal in the season finale, Nemesis, which will air in the fall. Now, did you know that Taylor Kinney is seen on top of a liftable bridge at an extremely steep angle, more than 150 feet in the air in the behind-the-scenes drone video? He even performed most of the stunts by himself. Also, Severide's abilities as a squad lieutenant, which enable him to perform feats like dangle from the edge of a bridge, have obviously not applied to his predicament with the CPD and Detective Prima in the wake of his and Stella's near-death encounter on their wedding night. Speaking of Chicago Fire, what characters could we be saying goodbye to this year? Well, possibly Severide. Severide is obviously near his breaking point in the fall finale, because he's typically more likely to pound someone when on a call than to break up a brawl. The aftermath may not have to wait until the winter premiere in the 2023 TV schedule, but only time will tell what the implications will be. Characters are frequently added and removed on Chicago Fire at the drop of a hat. One of the things that set it apart is the possibility that a fireman could pass away in a wildfire, or decide to leave the 5-1 and begin a new life somewhere else at any given time. It's thrilling, but it also makes audiences anxious. As a result, we've decided to save any unnecessary sorrow and analyze the characters who are most likely to depart the program in the upcoming season. Next, could Emma's time be almost up? Emma returned in season 11 of Chicago Fire and told us that internal affairs are now her employer. Carver abandons the ship while on a mission, and Emma is contacted to see if any harm was actually done. One of the occupants at 51, Violet, believes Emma will take advantage of the opportunity to wreak havoc on their house, but to her surprise, she does her duties impartially and exonerates Carver. If she were to perish in some way while trying to help the 5-1, that would be a terrific and surprising character arc for Jacobs. Furthermore, it would greatly alter Violet's feelings for her, bringing quite interesting storylines to the series. Next up, some viewers believe Dylan could be out of the show soon. On Chicago Fire, Dylan has an interesting presence. Although we don't know much about him yet, he's the first person who has successfully brought Brett out of her shell following the breakup with Casey. We've often seen him through Brett's eyes, or heard her mention him when she was questioned about her love life at 51. The problem is that Dylan is a band-aid solution. He seems like a kind guy, but the writers have yet to give him much else to work with than the Brett narrative. When they're first introduced, long-term love partners are typically given greater attention on television. We have a strong impression that Dylan is more of a rebound and may only be in the picture for a little while longer. What do you think? Another potential character death, Mooch. We're aware that it's blasphemous to suggest that a favorite character from the program might disappear without explanation. But here's the thing, Mooch is getting close to retirement age, and the storyline for season 11 will take advantage of this, according to the actor who plays him, Christian Stolt. The fact that Reddit users have put out so many suggestions regarding how Mooch can continue to work at the 5-1 after retirement demonstrates that the fear of his departure is quite serious. Even though we don't want him to leave, the time is coming when Mooch won't be putting out flames. Last but not least, Seth Prima. As stated by One Chicago Center, Troy Winbush's portrayal of Seth Prima is not in the best of circumstances. In the season 11 autumn finale, a bomb stabbed his character in the leg, and even after it was taken out, it exploded only a few feet away from him. Even worse, Prima looked to faint before the device was successfully removed, and was bleeding profusely before before it was. However, due to blood loss, consciousness loss, and the fact that he was unconscious through a very massive explosion, Prima is near the top of our list when it comes to forecasting whether individuals would escape the year 2023 unhurt. Another big question viewers have is, will there be a 12th season? What are the possibilities that Chicago Fire Season 12 will eventually be renewed? Without a doubt, we want it. The One Chicago franchise has enjoyed what we'd call an unprecedented level of security for the previous couple of years. Because they were renewed for multiple seasons, the writers were able to plan out the show's future in a way that not all shows can. But this time, at least a little bit, things are different. Do we have a good chance that this show will return for another season? In line with the rest of the franchise, we, along with various other internet sources, firmly believe this. Now, we also have to consider that all three shows will likely be subject to joint negotiations as a starting point. All three shows have excellent ratings, so there's no doubt they'll return. The next step is to determine if you will receive another multi-season renewal. In our opinion, this is on the table, mainly because it would increase the writer's sense of security. Finally, if you're craving more Chicago Fire action, here are some similar series you must check out. First up, Station 19. Since Station 19 is the second Grey's Anatomy spin-off after Private Practice, it has many similarities to Chicago Fire. Seattle's Station 19 is a fire station, and like Firehouse 51, it has a lot of drama in the firefighters' personal lives and demanding work lives that frequently spills over into the workplace. Station 19 has all the drama and intensity of any polished firefighters TV show, albeit it lacks the reality of Chicago Fire. It also has challenging office romances and action-packed firefights that push the protagonists to their absolute limit. Through 6 seasons, the show has maintained the relevancy of the majority of its primary characters, thanks to interestingly simple stories and thrilling firefight sequences that any fan of Chicago Fire would adore. Next up, The Resident. Popular medical drama The Resident is like One Chicago's Chicago Med, but much more intense. The program focuses on day-to-day activities at the fictional Chastain Park Memorial Hospital and the private lives of the staff members under the direction of senior resident Dr. Conrad Hawkins. With more in-depth discussion of the administrative challenges associated with running a hospital, the program elevates the setting of a demanding job. The Resident uses its characters in the same ways that Chicago Fire does, but with a greater degree of emotion, including office romance and familial issues that spill over into the workplace. Another great series, Night Watch. Firefighters, police officers, and emergency medical personnel are filmed as they respond to calls at night in various cities for the reality program Night Watch. Before the show traveled to other places, the first 3 seasons were filmed in New Orleans. The 4th and 5th seasons only featured emergency medical services workers. Fans of firefighter shows can take a break from the polished Hollywood representation of emergency service personnel thanks to Night Watch, which yet maintains an entertaining element because of its riveting cases and suspenseful narration. And of course, this list wouldn't be complete without Criminal Minds. This one is for people who want to dive deeper into the world of deranged serial killers. In Criminal Minds, the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit investigates the traumatic experiences and nefarious motives connected to a murderer on the run. The team has ongoing challenges as each episode goes along in terms of developing a profile for their suspect and discovering all the clues that point to them before they assault another victim. Next, the series House. This television show is about another unsociable doctor who works in the medical industry. Dr. House, Hugh Laurie, is openly conceited, in contrast to Dr. White, who makes an effort to blend in. Despite his terrible attitude, the other team members are eager to pick his brain when it comes to diagnosing problems. Viewers start to think of House as a lovely idiot in the same way that the other physicians eventually ignore his flaws and become friends with him. Lastly, FBI. The FBI squad is very dissimilar from the Criminal Minds team. These agents are quick to act and use their high-tech equipment to keep the murderers behind bars, rather than relying on the psychological aspects of the subjects at hand. Maggie, Missy Peregrine, and Omar, Zico Zaki, the show's 2 main characters, clearly understand what to do during a mission and how to hold one another accountable. Combining their interactions with engaging storylines adds another level of entertainment. This show is produced by Dick Wolf, just like Chicago Fire and Law & Order SVU. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the time we had for today. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.